What's the deal, man? It's your boy Rsonist, Heatmakerz in the building. You already know what it is, man. I'm chilling with my homeboy, Mikey T, the movie star. Report Card Radio, you know what it is, man. Dipset in the building. Holla at your boy, Heatmakerz. Crack music.
Man, Rsonist, I do appreciate you giving me the opportunity to speak with you tonight.
No problem, man. Anytime.
Yeah, man. Thanks for joining me on Report Card Radio, man. Let's take it back. You're actually from Jamaica, but you moved to New York at a young age.
Yeah, I was born in Jamaica, but I came over early, man. I came over when I was like 3 years old. So, it's not like, I don't want to make it sound like I was fully acclimated with Jamaica, but my whole family that's over here now pretty much was raised over there. Like my mother came over here in her 30s. So most of her life was spent in Jamaica. So I came up with a heavy Jamaican background.
How did your love for music turn into DJing and eventually producing?
Well, to be honest with you, the DJing thing kind of started because of a competition with my homeboy in high school. He tried to say that he could DJ better than me. I never DJed before, but I'm so competitive that I actually went out, saved some money. I've got some belt-driven turntables back in the day, taught myself, and just got nice, and it became bigger than a competition with me and him. And he was doing it, but I went away to college. I started DJing at college, and at Howard, I was DJing at different events. And it just kind of took off, man. It started off as a dare, and it ended up as kind of like my passion at the time.
How did you go from there to eventually forming the Heatmakerz?
Well, the Heatmakerz was, to be honest with you, the Heatmakerz was somebody else's idea who wanted to put together me, my old partner at the time, and like 4 other producers, and he wanted to name all of us the Heatmakerz. But later on down the line, not too late down the line, we kind of figured out he was doing some bad business, and me and my partner Thrill at the time just took the name, and we got it situated, and we just off to the races. We kind of beat him at his own game in a sense. At one point, the Heatmakerz was only me and my older partner Thriller. That was up until about 2007, 2008. And then from that point on, Heatmakerz has just been me from like 2008 until now. At the end of the day, everybody that's ever helped me along the way, and that kind of still helps me along the way, I still consider everybody Heatmakerz. But if we're talking about who physically makes music, it's just me.
So what was the first credit that you guys got as the Heatmakerz?
It was Canibus, a record called 2000 BC.
That's right.
It was actually the title track of his album, that the second album he put out, the one after the Wyclef album. It was through Universal. And I think the album was called 2000 BC, like 2000 before Canibus. And we had the title track on that album.
That's right, man. I was actually reading that. For you to get the title track on Canibus's album, that's actually that's pretty crazy, man. And then you followed that up with Ghostface Killah's project, the Bulletproof Wallets.
Yeah, but the funny thing about that track we actually sold to Cam. That's the same track as Come Home With Me. But Ghostface took the track off the CD and just put it on his album. I mean, we ended up squaring everything away later, but that track was originally Cam's Come Home With Me track. But Ghostface just took it. What you hear on Ghostface album is straight off of the CD that we gave to him. That's the mix, everything. Like how you hear the beat is how we gave it to him, because he couldn't mix it because he only had a 2-track of it.
Yeah, the game was a lot different back then, man. How did you feel when you saw that pop up on Ghostface's track list?
It felt good to hear, at that point we didn't have a lot of exposure to artists at that point, so it felt good to hear that artists, they were messing with our music. But in the same breath, it felt kind of messed up because we didn't get the credit we were supposed to. But like I said, eventually we squared everything away and they changed the credit, so everything worked out.
That's what's up, man. Were you able to ever work with Ghostface in the future? I know he really took on another life of his own after ODB passed.
Right, yeah, we never did. The crazy part is I remember when Ray was working on the Purple Tape too, and I remember me and him sat and we talked about, him wanting me to do a bunch of work on there, and I don't remember what happened. Things kind of, I think, Wu-Tang was having their situations at the time and things didn't work out, but the plan was supposed to be me doing about 4 or 5 records on the Purple Tape too, which would have been, which would have been dope. I'm still a fan of Wu and everybody, and Ray and Ghost and Meth and everybody. So that would have just been like a something to check off the bucket list.